What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today, you're joining me with my brand new Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive 2025 model year pre-refresh. We're going to be doing the out-of-spec 10% road trip challenge. And what is the 10% challenge? Well, we're going to be plugging in at 10% state of charge, charging for 15 minutes. We're at a version 4 post, version 3 cabinet, Tesla supercharger that will be able to max out this vehicle. We're going to see how far it charges from 10% for 15 minutes. And then we're going to drive at 80 miles per hour until we get back down to 10%, essentially simulating normal road trip experience. So let me just show you guys, we're at 10%. I have it in service mode because I'm going to be recording this session just for sake of data gathering of the charging performance. And we have a preconditioned battery. So there you can see cell temps there as well. And I have a stopwatch or timer ready to go on my watch. So we're going to be plugging in. So plugging in, apologies for the poor camera work. And then I'll be setting the stopwatch as soon as we get a green light there, because that means that the contactors have closed. There we go. Timer started. There we go. Let's watch this ramp. And there we go. Already over 680 amps, which is just crazy. Straight up to 250 kilowatts. Superchargers just ramp insanely fast. So this is a welcome change from my previous Model Y 4680 cell pack. And then just a few other things on this testing. So we're going to be running with the climate on while we're charging to simulate like you're leaving your car comfortable while you're running in to use the restroom, grab a snack, whatever on a road trip. I've set the tire pressures to manufacturer recommended pressure when cold, in this case 42 PSI. And then we're also going to be leaving the climate on. And then once we get to the turnaround point, so I'll be leaving the navigation set with 2 waypoints. I'll have my projected turnaround point roughly, and then I'll have a second stop, which is the charger again, because the way Teslas work is that if you have a supercharger set, it will actually precondition your battery. And if you take off the supercharger right after you're charging, then it will assume that you want to cool the battery rather than keeping that heat in. So setting the preconditioning later in the drive would actually expend more energy than doing it from the get-go, because if it knows you're going to another supercharger, it's going to hang on to that heat in that battery rather than cooling it off and then heating it back up. So it's a lot more efficient that way, and that's more representative of normal road tripping conditions. Today is about 67 degrees outside, very low wind. Let me see what it is. Looks like about a 5-mile-an-hour wind, so very mild overall. And we'll see how far this charges. I think it's going to have a great result. This is on the Pirelli tires, so let me go over the config. So we have the Stealth Gray, which is the base color. We have the white interior, which is a paid option, but otherwise this is the cheapest Model Y you can buy in the US right now. It has the Panasonic battery pack, 19-inch Gemini wheels. This car in particular has the 19-inch Pirelli Scorpion MS tires, which are a T0 spec. It's on here somewhere. There we go, T0, which means that they're the Tesla spec elect, and PNCS, so Pirelli noise cancellation system, I think. Basically just means that they're foam lined, so a little bit less noisy. No spoiler or anything, this car is factory, so very nice and fresh. Has about 700 miles on the odometer. There you go, 765 miles. And was produced about 3 months ago. Well, we're just over 10 minutes in, 10 and a half minutes, and we're at 46%. So we've added 29 kilowatt hour already. Pretty solid so far. We're still over 100 kilowatts. And with 4 minutes to go still, I think we'll probably get into the mid 50% range. We'll see how it does. We are just about 14 minutes in, just about to dip below 100 kilowatts at 54%. So about another minute remaining. We'll see what we get up to, and then that's when we'll stop at 15 minutes exactly. 8 seconds remaining. Going there. And then just about to go off. Done. Stop charging. 56%. I'm going to kill climate. Let's get out of service mode. And then let's unplug and we'll get going. Well, we added 36.4 kilowatts at an average of 154 kilowatt. 36.4 kilowatt hour. My bad. Even people that know the difference between kilowatt and kilowatt hour still make mistakes when speaking. So let's reset the trip. We'll set up the nav and we'll get going. So let's reset this trip A. That is since we actually took delivery. So sad day to reset that, but worthy sacrifice for the challenge. So reset that. There we have our lifetime. And let's put it in drive now that we're reset the trip. I have my nav set just kind of preliminarily, just picked a random address. I'll probably end up pushing that farther out to then come back because we have to do this as a loop style test. And then just to show you guys the weather, it looks like it's warmed up a little bit. And then again, very mild wind. So great conditions for testing. We're turning on the climate 68. Let's get going. Getting onto the interstate, we'll be gently accelerating up to 80, likely 81. We'll have to verify that 81 indicated is 80 actual. And then we'll just be setting FSD there. I have it on the hurry profile for FSD, so should be able to keep passing cars and such as needed to maintain speed, like this slow car getting on here. So we'll get up to 81 and set it ready to go. As usual, in Tesla's 81 is 80 actual. So we're just going to be cruising along here on FSD, letting it do its thing. As you can see, it's on the hurry profile, and it should be able to keep passing cars and things as needed to maintain that 80 miles per hour. And then I'll adjust the nav set point as needed to keep it going, and then I'll have it turn around at roughly the halfway point. So that way we arrive back to the charger at 10%. Well, we're coming up to our turnaround point at 35%. We just got the preconditioning message. We've driven 56 miles, 283 watt hour per mile so far. We just have a waypoint in there, so it doesn't give us our total trip. Currently projecting 14% back to the charger. So we will likely end up having to go past the charger, but we're going to be turning around here, getting back on, setting it back to 81 miles per hour, and continuing on this test. Well, we just crossed 10% right as we got off the on-ramp. 122 miles driven, 291 watt hour per mile, which is a little bit more than 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. I'll have to do the math there. We're just arriving to the charger in just a moment, and then I'll kind of debrief you guys. Well, there we have it. We drove 123 miles at 80 miles per hour. And just for some context of what that 123 miles means, and I will preface that I'm not 100% confident in this result being representative. There was some traffic on this route, but I think somewhere in the 115 to 120 range is representative. I think we were able to go a little bit further than we may have if I had been going a steady 80 miles per hour. I did go a little bit over 80 miles per hour at some points to help make up for it, but I think the results are a little bit skewed due to some of the traffic that I hit. So regardless, the results are still close, I think. And I just want to go through some of the other results from Out of Spec Studios, their 10% challenge on other Tesla models. So my previous car, the 2023 Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive with the 4680 back, went 71 miles in the same test, which is a really terrible result. That puts it towards the bottom, barely beating the Toyota BZ4X, for example. That's how bad that result was. The 2024 Model 3 long range with the LG battery did 100 miles. The 2023 Model 3 pre-refresh with the LFP battery, which has a pretty flat charging curve but peaks at 170 kilowatts, that did 106 miles. And then the Model Y rear-wheel drive, so this same car effectively, but with the software limited battery pack, did 109 miles. So that was a test I did as well. So that's more directly comparable, similar sea level, or similar elevation and such. And I think that was due to the lower peak, so it wasn't able to add as many kilowatt hour in the same amount of time, being that it was limited to about 160 kilowatts, whereas mine can do a full 250 kilowatts. The 2024 Model X Plaid on the 20-inch wheels, that did 120 miles, so that's roughly comparable to this, which I think is a really impressive result. And then the Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive on 18s, that did 130 miles. That's with the Panasonic battery. And that's basically the benchmark. So that shows you how good this car is, because in the i90 Surge, the Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive was only a little bit behind the Porsche Taycan, which is an absolute road trip monster. That car did 190 miles in the 10% challenge, and then the Model S Plaid did 132 miles. So that really gives you an idea of some different results here. And I think the point here is also that even if the result isn't the top here, it's really good. And I think the combination of Tesla having a really good charging network, having some of the best locations, means that this translates in the real world to an incredible result and a very capable road trip machine for anyone that's buying it, and especially since it's the cheapest Model Y that you can buy. So I think a lot of people will be buying this car and will be very happy with it. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any thoughts or comments, comment down below. See you guys on the next one.